And so this morning I'm going to teach you the secret of yoga.
For enlightenment?
For enlightenment, that's right. So the first secret of yoga is relaxation. And so I encourage you just to feel into your body. Take deep, full belly breaths. And let your body melt. So many of us, we hold our bodies so tight, so tense. There's so many places within our body that we don't even realize we're holding tension. So I invite you to breathe, to feel, and to experience. What's happening in the body. What's happening here? And so let the breath be natural, but full. And so we're breathing in, breathing out. And I invite you to bring your awareness out of your mind and down into your feet, the most humble of places. So you're feeling into your toes, the balls of your feet, your heels. And we're simply relaxing the feet. Relaxing the calves, the shins, the knees, the legs. We're having an attitude of gratitude toward our feet, towards our legs, our body, our pelvis, for moving us around. And I invite you just to feel into your pelvic floor, taking deep, full breaths, relaxing the pelvic floor, pelvic bowl. So many of us store unconscious trauma in the pelvis, the hips, even the thighs. So we're just bringing a sense of awareness here. Just relaxing. Letting this body melt. Get deep, full breaths. Noticing any tension and relaxing the tension. Noticing if there's any rush in our legs, our feet, our pelvis. In this day and age, we're always rushing here or there. So we're giving the body, the physical body, permission just to relax. Just to let go. We're taking deep, full breaths, including the hara, and the chakra right below the belly button. Just breathing into the hara. So often we hold tension in the hara, in the belly. So breathing in, breathing out. Just imagine whatever tension's in the belly melting. The whole belly, the solar plexus. Just breathing, feeling, melting. Nothing you need to do. Nowhere we need to go. You're giving yourself permission to fully and deeply relax. And simultaneously, I'm going to invite the body just to begin to wake up. Begin to wake up in the experience of grace. In the experience of being held. So often in life, like we were speaking about last night, we don't feel supported. So I invite you to allow this quietude, this silence, this gentle sense of aliveness which is here right now, to hold you, to support you, to nourish your body. So often in life we think that we have to do everything. There's a lot of doing energy in the belly, especially the solar plexus and the hara. This is the seat of our human egoic will. So can you relax your will? Say, it's okay. It's okay. I don't have to do. I don't have to build or create or effort or strive. And so in the hara, in the solar plexus, I'm going to invite you just to open to this gentle prayer. Thy will be done. Thy will. Just let the ego relax, let the grip unravel. Thy will be done. So we're just quietly opening to God's grace. Quietly opening to another way where we're not efforting, we're not striving, we're not struggling, we're not trying to achieve. So fully relaxing the belly. In order to allow thy will to be done, you have to humbly open to being supported in this world. Supported. Deep, full belly breaths. Just giving yourself permission to take your hands off the steering wheel. From a place of humility, can you allow the intelligence, the compassion, the love, the wisdom of the universe to live through you? To live through you. I want you to imagine going into work, and your boss telling you, today I'm going to give you a spa day. You just relax and receive. Let me do the work. Let me do the work. We're taking deep, full breaths, including the heart. And just noticing, how does your heart feel? Do you feel the supreme innocence and angelic nature that you are? Do you feel one with all life? Or is your heart heavy and struggling? Or somewhere in between? And so I invite you, if there's anything heavy in your heart, just to breathe, to feel, to let go. Let go of any pain, of any sadness, or heartache. Let go of anything. Deep, full breaths in the heart. Just admitting, I've carried too much in this lifetime. Too much. So I invite you to scan your heart. Is there anyone you need to forgive? Do you need to forgive yourself for being human, for getting confused, for going down dark roads, for listening to the wrong voice within? Do you need to forgive someone else? Maybe a whole lot of people. For being confused, for being sad and hurting, angry, or violent. Can you give them back to life? Can you give them to God? Say, Lord, you take them. Take this pain of mine. I don't know what to do with all this sadness, this heartache, this rage, this despair. So you give it back to life. Let your heart be what it truly is, what it's meant to be. Innocent, open, spacious, presence. A heart is a center where we experience oneness with all of life. Love for our brothers and sisters. Love for our planet. The 10 million species here. Your heart is meant to love, not to be a dumping ground for pain. Your whole body is meant to be a conduit of grace. And so I invite you anywhere within your 7 chakras, anywhere within the human body, if there's old cobwebs, if there's karmic congestion, if there's pain, sadness, guilt, rage, heartache, fear, there's too much energy in the body, anxiety, whatever it is, just let it flow. Let it empty out of you. So deep, full breaths, just breathing, feeling, and letting it melt, letting it empty out of you. So if the body shakes, we let it shake. If it needs to tremble, we let it tremble. If it needs to move side to side, you let it move side to side. So deep, full belly breaths. Allowing the throat to be relaxed and open. Oftentimes the throat is clenched. The throat is this gatekeeper where we clench the throat and keep all the old karma, all the old pain in the body. So I invite you to take a deep breath and just trust. Relax the throat and trust that I can be open. Trust that I can relax. Trust that I can breathe and let go. And so you're giving yourself permission to be held in this grace, to be held in this light, to be held in this space of love. So you're relaxing the throat, feeling into the skull. And I invite you to let the back of the skull just open and melt. Any old thoughts floating around in your mind, let those thoughts just empty out of you. The back of the skull. Empty out into the floor. Allow the mind to be empty and free. And so notice the quietude of the heart, this quiet brilliance, this great freedom in the belly. The whole energetic body, the whole subtle energetic body, alive, relaxed, just gently vibrating with light. The space of the mind empty and free. So we're just breathing in and out, allowing awareness to wake up to itself. This quiet presence of awareness, becoming aware of itself. Noticing how vast the space of the mind is. How empty and free. This mind of ours is not meant to be a place with continual, constant thought. It's actually a space of vast freedom. Vast freedom. So can you give yourself permission to not think, but to experience the hugeness of the mind? Can you notice the mind has no walls? It's completely open. It's so free. It allows everything to come and go within its space. So free. It allows everything. Beautiful thoughts, discursive thoughts. But have you ever turned around and looked directly at the freedom of your mind? To feel its vastness, its emptiness, its non-dual nature. Vast, spacious, eternally empty, and free. Deep, full belly breaths. And finally, I invite you to bring your awareness to your crown chakra. Just allowing awareness to come to the crown, to feel this subtle sense of aliveness, like dancing light on the top of your head. Absolute divinity. Space of no thought, no mind, but pure light. So can you feel your crown? Open the crown. Feel this gentle sense of warmth, of aliveness. Do you trust? Do you trust your higher nature? Do you trust your absolute divinity? Can you open here and experience what is beyond mind, beyond ego, beyond emotion? Can you allow yourself to be the absolute? Deep, full breaths. Giving yourself permission to admit, I am God. I am a goddess. And I am here upon the earth. I am God. I am divine. And I am here upon the earth. So I invite you to take some deep, full belly breaths. Just breathing, smiling, and acknowledging your divinity. Acknowledging your divinity. Get comfortable here. No one's asking you to pick up your ego again. No one's asking you to be busy thinking about this or that. No one's asking you to struggle with the past. Can you give yourself permission to go forward from this moment, seeing, feeling, experiencing yourself as God on earth, a goddess here on earth. Give yourself this gift this day. Make this your life. So you can take a couple more deep, full breaths. Just breathing, feeling, relaxing. You can just start to wiggle your toes and your feet, your arms and your hands. Just gently smile at this paradox of being God in human form. God in human form. And you can just gently come to a seat. Yeah, of course. And so while we are on our yoga mats, I thought I would just talk a little bit about yoga. So the main purpose of yoga, in a practical sense, is to relax the body. And just to relax the body. And with all, the asana practice of bending ourselves this way and that way, what that does is that just helps to clear the cobwebs. Helps to break up some of that old karma and that old conditioning. But all of this is simply a setup for you to realize, for you to directly experience your divinity. And so yoga is just kind of like this setup. It's like a trick. We're tricking people into waking up to what they are, to the direct experience of what you are. It's very helpful because as human beings, there's this force of habit. This whole universe is built out of two great forces. There's this force of evolution, just creating new, and then there's this force of habit, which is keeping everything together. And when we have a human mind and a human ego that's built on habit, a practice like yoga can be very helpful. And just breaking the habits. We bend our body this way and that way and do all these strange, pretzel-like movements. And the purpose of this is simply to break up those habits. And as we break up the habits, the subtle energetic body, it comes alive. It comes alive. And within the subtle energetic body, if you notice, well, what is this? What is this subtle energetic body? What is the head, heart, hara? It's God in form. It's the absolute in form. And so we're waking up to this. We're waking up to this. And so it's good. It's good to break up habits, however that looks. If that means more meditation, if it means more yoga, if it means more walking meditation, if it means being kind to someone who you've been angry or grumpy with, if it means looking in the mirror and seeing your absolute beauty. And because our ego, it tends to be in this habit of I'd like to say negativity, but that's not quite right. The habit of ego is just to search for problems. And that's a great thing when, we were cavemen and women and scan the environment for problems. But in 2019, we don't need to scan for problems. We don't need to scan. That's good. We don't need to scan. We don't need to scan for problems. If you want to realize yourself as God, as a goddess here on planet Earth, we have to scan for divinity. We have to look into the mirror and see God looking back. See an angel looking back. See absolute beauty looking back. Now for most of us, when we look in the mirror, we see, oh, this guy, To look in the mirror and see beauty, radiance, divinity. Looking back. Looking back. And the beautiful thing about this is when you wake up to your divinity, you see divinity everywhere. You see it everywhere. Even in people who are angry and grumpy. I had someone once, it was really funny, I told this story before, but I was being a punk and I was like rushing to the store and I pulled up to the hardware store and I parked in a spot that wasn't like really fully a spot. And I just ran into the store and then I ran out to my car, and as I got into my car, this man, he's a big guy, came out, he had just wild hair, and he started banging on my window. You motherfucker, who do you think you are? Just like he was ready to punch through my window. I looked, I saw, oh wow, here's God, just screaming at me. I said, oh yeah, you're right, I'm so sorry, and then put it in gear and drove away. I'm so sorry. Sorry for upsetting you. Sorry for upsetting you, Lord, in this form. And then, when you're in a space of divinity, there doesn't have to be that fear. We don't have to go into fight or flight response. I don't have to be reaching for the gun that I don't have, I don't have to be looking for something to beat this man with.
His reaction?
He was really confused, he was just confused. He was like, huh? He wasn't expecting an apology, and when someone's angry and you give them a real heartfelt apology, a lot of times they stop, they're like, oh, okay, but again, it's also wise not to stick around, not to stick around in dangerous situations. That's wise. And so, this practice of yoga, this practice of meditation, the whole practice of spirituality is for you to wake up to your divinity, to experience the goodness and the beauty of your heart, to say, oh yeah, this is me. And what am I? Oh yeah, I'm God. I'm divine. I'm holy. I'm holy. That's what I am. I'm not my ancestors. I'm not my parents. I'm not my past. I'm not this job or this career. What I am is something quite wonderful, quite innocent, quite pure. And so, this is the teaching of yoga as we relax the body, we remove the cobwebs, and we wake up to our divinity. We wake up to our divinity. And so if that's the secret of yoga, in this moment, I'd like to teach the secret of prayer. And so, with prayer, a lot of times people, they get really confused about prayer, and they think about prayer asking God something, bartering with God, like playing all these games with God. And so I'd invite you all, I'm going to show you how to pray. So I'm going to invite you all to come on your knees. And it's best probably, it'll be more comfortable if you're at the back of your mat. And then I invite you to fold forward in child's pose. This is prayer. So you just rest there in child's pose. And what we're doing in child's pose is we're surrendering. Surrendering our head. Surrendering our mind. We're surrendering our confusion. And please, if child's pose is uncomfortable, just do what's comfortable for you. You're surrendering. You're allowing that forehead of yours just to melt out. The thoughts to melt. The struggle to melt. The heartache to melt. The confusion to melt. You're saying, Lord, I've gotten so confused here on planet Earth. I think I'm too smart. Or I think I'm too confused. I've lost my way. Will you lead me? Will you guide me? Will you help me to forgive? Will you help me to walk forward in the truth? Lord, show me the way. I get confused. I eternally get confused by this mind of mine. I get confused by my body. I get confused by the people around me. But Lord, will you show me the way? Lead me. Fill me with your highest light, your highest love, your highest grace. Make me a conduit for that which is pure, that which is divine, that which is holy. Show me, Lord, that I am your child, that you love me, that I am always in your heart. Show me, Lord, that I am one with you, one with all of life. All of life. And so I invite you just to take some deep, full belly breaths. And just surrender. Surrender into prayer. Surrender into love. Surrender into freedom. Surrender into your highest. So you can take a couple of deep, full breaths. And of course, if there's anything specific in your life, give it to God. Give it back to life. Say, Lord, you take care of this. You take care of this. I don't know what to do with this thing or that thing or this person or that person. I don't know what to do with my mother or father or sister or brother, husband or wife or child, addiction, struggle. I don't know what to do, Lord. Show me the way. Give me the strength. Show me the highest path forward. And so you take a couple deep, full belly breaths. We're just surrendering. Surrendering it all to grace. And so when you're ready, you can just gently come up. I invite you just to feel this gentle presence of humility in your heart. And anytime you pray, you don't have to go into child's pose. But child's pose, it creates the right mindset for prayer. I don't care, if we're a great guru or just an ordinary human on the spiritual path. When we're here on planet Earth and we have a human body and a human mind, it's good just to humbly admit, I get confused sometimes. I've lost my way. I'm not exactly certain what the way forward is. And so with child's pose, with any asana, it just helps the body, it helps the mind, it helps the heart, to melt a little bit. Because a lot of us need to melt. We need to melt.